CRISPR has been all over the news recently, from preventing obesity to making completely designer babies. So, what is CRISPR? CRISPR stands for Clustered Regularly Interspaced Palindromic Repeats.
You may be wondering, what does CRISPR do? Well, it locks onto the DNA. Then, it unwinds it and puts the target RNA onto the base pairs. Then, what it does is it cuts the DNA with a pair of molecular scissors. Then, it unwinds from the DNA and it breaks it. The DNA tries to heal itself, but its healing process is filled with errors, causing the gene to basically break.
We are a team of high school students who traveled all across Colorado to interview some of the best minds in the field, deciding how can CRISPR truly help people. This is Repeats, the documentary. What is your definition of CRISPR?
A gene editing technology that they use to cut DNA into pieces, and they put new pieces in order to do things like cure some diseases, create designer babies, genetically modify any type of plant or animal.
It's an innovative way to edit genes, I guess, edit the genome.
My definition of CRISPR, it's a tool that you can use to change the DNA in an organism. So the change is genetic expression. It's a tool you can use for that.
What are some pros and cons of CRISPR?
I think the biggest pro is that it enables genome editing to be done easily. And probably the biggest con is that it enables genome editing to be done easily. I think there's a lot of controversy, and if those people in China, I sent you the link for, if they've really created babies that have had their genomes edited, I think that's kind of a scary proposition, because although we know it's possible in theory, I think we're doing it way too quickly because we don't know what the consequences are of making those mutations, and whether those children have other mutations that, anything that goes wrong with those kids will be blamed on CRISPR, whether it was CRISPR or not. And so I think there's a lot more research to be done before we're ready to do that.
Pros is that it's very easy to use. And that's really convenient for us, especially because you don't want to spend a whole year just trying to get a mutation in a fish, right? So hopefully I can get this done within a few weeks or months. Cons of using CRISPR is that it's still not completely validated, as in it hasn't been around long enough for us to know what all can go wrong. Like, we have a good idea as to what can go wrong by using CRISPR, but it's still fairly new, so there could be something that we don't know about that can pop up much later on.
Why do some people reject the idea of genetic editing?
I think some people reject the idea of CRISPR because it can get dangerous with how much the gene is being edited and how often we're using the technology. For example, if they do things like create designer army members, then we are going to have super soldiers that are going to be competing against other super soldiers, and the safety of that becomes an issue.
I think partly fear of the unknown. I think it's the same. Part of it is the same reason that some people refuse to eat genetically modified organisms, because they don't trust scientists. I think that's a big problem that scientists have, is we have people who aren't scientists don't generally trust scientists, and so even though genetically modified organisms have DNA in them that's the same as DNA in non-modified organisms, and when you eat those modified organisms, your stomach digests the DNA and then it doesn't exist anymore. There is this irrational fear of GMO, and GMO labeled food is not eaten. And so I think the same thing applies to CRISPR as well.
I think people reject the idea of CRISPR because it's scary, Thinking about something that can change how an organism behaves and how an organism feels or how its health is, that can be scary to some people. Some people think that maybe scientists are changing things that shouldn't be changed.
What field would CRISPR work best in?
A lot of plants they have very big genomes, and they've been very difficult to manipulate historically, and so with CRISPR we're now able to manipulate them. And so it means instead of having to take years to breed a disease-resistant wheat plant, now you can just pop one gene out, stick a new one in, and you're done. And it's not quite that quick, but it's still that's still a very that probably will come before the medical applications, because there's less rules. There are rules about genetically modified organisms. They don't actually apply to CRISPR at the moment. So.
I may be a little biased, but I think definitely in developmental biology, CRISPR can be used quite a bit, because we study how things start to grow and how they start to develop. And so if you can kind of knock down an important gene or important protein that you need early on, that will help us see something in the later stages. And so I think developmental biology can really utilize that, because growth and development is such an important part of our culture. Yeah.
Where do you see CRISPR in 30 years?
I think it will be, in this country, I think it's safe to say that it will be used for curing genetic diseases, possibly treating something like HIV. HIV integrates into your genome, and so you could use CRISPR to cut it back out.
CRISPR definitely has the capacity to make a great impact in the world. However, there's still some things that we don't know about. So in 30 years, it's hard to say. I would hope that there's some sort of therapy that maybe CRISPR can help someone in the future, but it's hard to say when that future will be. Yeah.
CRISPR could be improved by putting limitations on it, so making sure that we are using it for the correct things as opposed to letting anybody with money use it. So maybe limiting the amount that it's being used and putting laws and regulations around what it's being used for.
I think the biggest concern that is holding back medical applications is, will it only do what you want it to do? So when you put CRISPR into a cell, you want it to go and cut in a specific place, but at some low level it also will go and cut in other places that you might not want it to cut in, or you might not even know about. And if one of those other places happens to be a really important gene, like a tumor suppressor, then that edited cell can turn into a cancer.
If I can improve CRISPR in any way, if it was more reliable, if we knew exactly where it was going, exactly what it was going to do to the organism, that's what I would improve. It's just always that unknown of where it's going to go. Yeah.
Hey, it's like 3 in the morning right now, and I just got finished editing this, but I'm exposing my ugly self for you guys, because you helped me through this, you helped me make this, you helped me bring my vision to life, and that was just really awesome. So I just kind of wanted to make this video appreciating you guys. So just thank you so much. I love y'all so much.